physically, your body will allow you to do a lot of stuff that your mind doesn't think it can. It can. Just don't quit.
So you grew up with with the pipe hitters of the Marines from Vietnam as your uncles, your influence. What were, I mean, were you sitting around while they're, smoking cigars and telling stories? Did you have access to that, or was your dad a little bit more protective of you, or how did it work?
We did, but we were always on the periphery. The grown-ups back in those days, grown-ups and kids didn't really hang out too much together. Like nowadays, the mom's got all the kids involved in every conversation. It was very, very separated at that time.
That's right.
But it would be me and my crew of buddies and all of these guys, Green Beret dads, Marine dads, all Vietnam dudes, So, wow. and then guys that went on to start HRT for the FBI, the original SWAT guys in New York City and LA. So we would hear the stories, and then we would go and run out in the woods, get our BB guns and have BB gun wars. And, we didn't want to be the kid to come back crying. So they would just let these little maniacs do their thing. We're going to have a chat. And that's kind of how it was. So nothing was ever really pushed on me. But I grew up with the influence, and that it was just always attractive. I don't know why it wouldn't be to a young man or woman, frankly.
Well, that's what it was like. And I have service in my family, but it's very disconnected, through 2 generations ago. And then everybody became, a professional, a lot of lawyers in my family. And I knew early on there was no way in hell I was going to want to be a lawyer. I just couldn't do it. But there was always this allure, right? This thing that was being portrayed, whether in film or books. And it was that sense of like, oh, this is what a man is. Like, this is what a man does. This is this ability to have other people believe in you in the most complex, scary situations imaginable. And yet everybody's just like, let's go. And for me, like that, I think you experience some of that in sport, but it's not quite the whole thing. And that. And I think I was the same thing. Once I realized, well, my athletic career is pretty much over in college. And what am I going to do? Cause I don't feel the sensation, and I know I want that feeling. And that pulled me in too. So was it after this call, did it feel like it was an insurmountable task, or is just like, all right, it's just checking off the box. These are what I have to do.
I think at that point I just knew it was going to happen. I couldn't see my life going any other direction. Frankly. So then it was just, don't quit. That's all you got. I mean, that was the guidance that I got from anybody that had been there and done that. Like, yeah, you can do it physically, just don't quit. And I think, generally speaking, that is the correct message to give to any young man or woman. I mean, physically, your body will allow you to do a lot of stuff that your mind doesn't think it can. It can. Just don't quit. And I mean, you guys and your brotherhood know that about as good as anybody, because in terms of gut checks, ain't really much out there like buds.
Well, I certainly believe, that 21 days in the swamp at Ranger School, there are aspects of the Q course that are kicking the nuts. Right. Every, MARSOC's program has gotten phenomenally difficult. Right. And it's, you're right though. It is that simple. And I mean, I'm sure we chatted a little bit before you came on, you try to mentor young men into the recognition that this could be a phenomenal footstep towards the development of your life and the meaning of your life and whatever other pursuits you want to engage in professionally after your service. But there's something in it that teaches you that where that space is of quitting, right? I think as a young person, it's so relative to the tangibility of physical pain or discomfort, right? You feel it and you're like, okay, I'm going to push back. Sure. Well, in these programs, the physical pain, the physical existence of pain is perpetual by the nature of the job itself. So you're automatically forced to do that deeper, the deeper evaluation of what you believe the mental never quit space is. And that for me is like the coolest thing to witness and see as whether your peers you're going through it or when you become an instructor or a senior level, like you watch it unfold, that expansion of perspective that says, oh, wow, that there is this whole other gear that's available to me. How soon did you really start to feel that in yourself after you got engaged in the program?
Well, pretty early on, Marine Corps OCS, there's a couple different avenues you can get commissioned through the Marine Corps. I went through a program called PLC Combined, Platoon Leaders Class Combined. Essentially, that's a program you do the summer before your senior year in college, and it's the full program. So you got 12 weeks combined. PLC Junior Seniors, you do 6 weeks before your junior year and then another 6 weeks before your senior year. Slightly different approach, but regular OCS 12-week program. And I think, it is a physically grueling event. You don't learn a whole ton. You learn the basics. You learn to march, you learn drill, immediate response to orders, those types of things. But basically it's like, how much shit can you do in a day, boy, and survive? And that's really it. And I was talking to a buddy the other day when I told him I was going to do this program. I was like, dude, do you remember what our attrition rate was back then? And I think regular OCS, which doesn't get a lot of hubbub. I still think OCS is about a 50% attrition rate, 40 to 50%. It's significant. Wow. And so you get a lot of folks in there that I think they come in there in shape because there's minimum requirements for showing up. They think they're in shape, but it's just, like you said, it's working past being in shape. Everybody's in shape. Now everybody's exhausted. Your muscles don't work anymore. You can't do any more push-ups. What do you have to keep you there? And a lot of folks talk about the why now. And mine was just, I got to get that EGA. I can't let the old man down, the legacy, that kind of thing. So I think that was definitely a driving factor for me.